What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fantasy Twins. My name is Tyler, and I'm here to give you all the best fantasy advice. Last week, we started a series where we're giving you the perfect draft from each one of your draft spots. Last week, we did the 101. Today, we're going to do the 102. So, we're going to use our 101 selections and act like that actually happened, just because it makes it easier and we don't overlap players. So, with the 102, if somebody takes somebody other than Jamar Chase, the one at the 101, you go Jamar Chase too. But in most common worlds, most drafts you're gonna do, Jamar Chase will go 1. So you're gonna have to filter out who do you want next at the 102, which could be a very hard decision. You could go Bijan, you could go Saquon, you go Justin Jefferson, or even maybe CeeDee Lamb. Some people are really liking Christian McCaffrey. I'm not one of those guys. But for me, it was a real toss-up between Bijan, Saquon, and Justin Jefferson. I typically like to lean wide receiver heavy, especially in PPR leagues. But man, Bijan, he kind of looks good. He looked really good last year. He's not going to get you 2,000 yards like Saquon. But Saquon's not going to get you as many receptions and receiving touchdowns as Bijan. So really, that's where I had to toss up. Justin Jefferson's kind of dealing with a little injury, so he was the first one in my mind to go away. So it's really Bijan versus Saquon. So I decided to go Bijan. I think Bijan needs to be your perfect selection at the 102. Take him. He's in a pretty decent offense. He's not in a bad offense. And so he's kind of just a perfect pick. He kind of just falls in right perfectly at the 102. So at the 102, we'll go Bijan. At the 211 actually, we're going to double running back. If you know me, it's not normal. I normally, like I said, tend very hard to wide receivers. I normally load up wide receivers first. But man, that boy in Cincy, Chase Brown, he could honestly be an RB1 in most case scenarios, and I'd be totally happy with that. So you're gonna go Bijan Robinson and Chase Brown, and you're gonna lock up your running backs. And so with Bijan and Chase Brown, you don't have to worry about your running backs at all for the whole year. You're not gonna have to be like, should I sit one of my running backs to play X, Y, and Z? No, you will never have to. This is a easy, at least 40 points a week, at least, between just those two. And with Chase Brown and Bijan at the 302, you're going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Seattle Seahawks. I honestly am not the hugest fan, not the biggest fan. I don't believe that they have a great offense over there. I don't believe in their offense too much. But JSN kind of can make something out of nothing. He's a real big playmaker. We saw that at Ohio State. He can make plays. And so I think JSN's the perfect person to build your wide receiver core with JSN. Obviously, with us going running back in the first 2 rounds, we're going to have to load up a lot of wide receivers on the back end. So we're going to go JSN, and then in the 4th round, we're going to take DJ Moore. So we're going to load up those 2 wide receivers who are wide receiver 1s on their team, but they're not in great offenses. So this is a little bit of a risky play, but I think you'll totally be fine with JSN and DJ Moore. I think they both have proven that they can hold your team together with those 2. Then in the 5th round, you're going to get your tight end, which is a little different than what we did in 101. We decided to wait on the tight end. We're going to take TJ Hockenson, who last year was still dealing with a little bit of an injury. He was, coming back from it and whatnot. But in a lot of the games that he played, he looked like he could be back to tight end 3, 4, 5 that he was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we didn't have Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. So I see the ceiling for TJ Hockenson probably as a tight end 6, which is about where he's going, behind the Kittles, Laportas, Brock Bowers, and Trey McBrides. So TJ Hawkinson is probably going to be about tight end 5 or 6, but he's going to be good. He's going to find the end zone. So I think he's a perfect candidate to take here at the 5. And then at the 6, you're going to take your third receiver, a guy who has tremendous upside. I really don't know why he's fallen to the 5th and 6th round. I kind of do, because he was a little bit of a disappointment last year. Has a rookie quarterback, and he's not really had the craziest good seasons. He's had some pretty decent seasons, but he's never been at a JSN or DJ Moore level yet. So we're going to take Calvin Ridley. He is also a little bit of a question mark because he has Cam Ward throwing to him. We just haven't seen Cam Ward yet. He's a rookie. We've only seen him in preseason. So we just don't know how it's going to work. We did see in preseason, Cam Ward looked really good. And Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley kind of have a pretty good connection we see off the field. And we saw a little bit in preseason. But, so you're going to take Calvin Ridley. So now our lineups looks like our running backs are Bijan and Chase Brown. Our wide receivers are Jackson Smith and Jigba, DJ Moore, and Calvin Ridley, with your tight end as TJ Hawkinson. So now we got to fill out quarterback, our 2 flexes, and then for this scenario, our 2 bench spots. So in the 7th, which will be kind of our flex 1, not really, but we're going to take Quinshon Judkins. He's a rookie as well, with a little bit of a legal battle going on, kind of thing. Nothing. I don't think that's too serious, because he signed his contract. I'd be a lot more worried if he hasn't signed his contract yet. But he signed his contract with the Browns, so I think you're okay to take Judkins. In college, he looked really good. I mean, he played behind Trey Henderson a lot, that double running back that they had. But Judkins kind of just looked like an NFL running back, honestly. He does have Dylan Sampson in the backfield with them, but I don't think that, and Jerome Ford. But I really don't think that that's going to hinder him too much because the Browns kind of suck and they don't really have much else going on, so might as well play your rookies. But I can honestly totally see where you hear me say Quinshon Judkins as your flex 1, and you're like, no, get me away from that. Get me away from that and get me far away from that. I hear you, I do. But I think we got to play the risk reward. The reward could be a lot better than what we risk without it. So after Quinshon Judkins, we're going to take Jauan Jennings, Brock Purdy, and Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Jauan Jennings. Brock Purdy and Jauan Jennings. Oh, and Christian McCaffrey. Do not let me forget Christian McCaffrey. But Brock Purdy and Jauan Jennings kind of had a pretty good connection last year without Deebo Samuel really playing a lot, and obviously without Ayuk. They also have Ricky Pearsall, who I am a little worried about. Ricky P might take some of Jauan Jennings' spot at the beginning of the year, but we're just going to have to see. Jauan Jennings has all the upside at the beginning of the year because Ayuk, I don't think is going to be ready for the beginning of the year. He's still coming back from the ACL that he injured in week 5 of last year. So he's got all the room in the world to break out. I mean, we saw him have 40-plus point games last year. I think it was like 45.6 game and a 41 or something like that. So Jauan Jennings can obviously get us points. And I think his floor is super high as well as his ceiling is also really high. So really, how we're going to build our lineup is for Jauan Jennings to be our flex 1, and our flex 2 is really going to be a little bit of a committee between Quinshon Judkins, a person we're going to say for our 11th round, and Emeka Egbuka. I still don't know if I say his name right every time, but him in preseason and training camp has looked crazy. He looks like he could be one of the best receivers in the class, and that's saying a lot because this class doesn't have the craziest receivers, but they also don't have bad receivers. So Egbuka, I think, has all the opportunity in the world, especially with Chris Godwin missing the beginning of the year. So with no Chris Godwin, Mike Evans being old as dirt, and Rashad White kind of dealing with some weird injury right now. I think Egbuka could start off the year really, really hot. And if Egbuka starts the year off really hot, how could you bench him, you know? So I think with what he can be, this goes back to the risk reward. I think we take him here. So as your flexes, you've got Quinshon Judkins, Jauan Jennings, Egbuka, and then the guy we're about to talk about in a minute. But first, we're going to take our quarterback, finally. We're finally going to take our quarterback to pair up with one of our receivers. So we're going to take up Caleb Williams. He has literally probably the most weapons collectively out of almost anybody. Outside of probably the Lions, maybe the Vikings. But out of a team scenario, nobody has really more weapons than Caleb Williams. It's all in Caleb Williams' hand for them to have a good offensive season. Caleb Williams loves to sling the ball. He wants to throw the ball 70 yards every time. He's like a Joe Milton, but more accurate. He's like Joe Milton if he was accurate, basically. But Caleb Williams, he also has a little bit of rushing upside, so we like that. And so really a lot of it's going to come down to his receivers and tight ends and running backs will make plays for him. But then he can also make plays. So we really like Caleb Williams here, especially with DJ Moore. So now we're going to finally get into our final flex idea. So we'll have Quinshon Judkins, Jauan Jennings, Emeka Egbuka, and Ramondre Stevenson. Trey Henderson, has looked really good in preseason, though. It's preseason. I mean, we can't forget that. Like, they're still playing against, second, third, fourth string guys, practice squad guys. And so I still think Ramondre Stevenson, at least for the beginning of the year, is going to start off as the starter. But also something that Josh McDaniels has done a lot is he's done a lot of running back by committee. We run by committee. So I think it's been a lot of kind of, to a way lesser degree, a little bit of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. To a way lesser degree, obviously. Neither one of Trey Henderson or Ramondre Stevenson is on Gibbs and D-Mont's level as of right now. But there's a chance that Ramondre plays a good role this year. He really did have a pretty good season last year. It's just he had a little bit of a fumble problem, which is something that he could really get rid of during this past offseason and through training camp. And so if he gets those fumbles down, gets into the end zone one or two more times, I think he has a pretty good season, a really good season, and he'll be looked at a lot higher. But I think getting him in the 11th is a kind of a steal. So just to break down the lineup again, our quarterback is going to be Caleb Williams. Our two running backs will be Bijan Robinson, Chase Brown. Our receivers might be a little bit lackluster on the surface, but they have a lot of high upside. We're going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley. Our tight ends are TJ Hawkinson. Our flexes are Quinshon Judkins, Jauan Jennings, Emeka Egbuka, and Ramondre Stevenson. With that team, I really do like it. I think it's a lot of high upside, but it's also a lot of low floor. So following this, I think you're going to have to prepare to, make a few trades. But I also can see where this team is absolutely stacked to where if you do lose a game, you're losing by like 10 points. Like, you're barely losing games. But I don't think you're going to lose many. I really don't. I mean, I think this team is, like, the floor on a lot of these players is really high, but the ceiling is so high. So I think you would do good if this is how your draft ended up, which is why this is the perfect draft series. So I hope you win every single one of your fantasy games, and I hope I can help out just a little bit. I hope you all have a great day. See ya.